They're on patrol, the Brothers Grimm. Silver's playing, Dixie's concerned. And this is Neil's on Dynasty. Please like, share, and subscribe. Buy some silver and some platinum. Be kind, helpful, and grateful. Because that helps a lot worse and better than being a jerk. Because if I wasn't kind, helpful, and grateful, I wouldn't have started a channel to give you guys all this great information. And what great information is that, you're saying, Neil? Well, the great information that I've been telling you, Africa is going to be the best place to invest in. I said it over a year ago, said it several times since then. I'm on record, I got videos saying it. Here's another confirmation of that fact. Africa is a good place to invest. Not all of Africa. It's like the United States. There's 50 or 60 countries. There's 50 states in America. Not every state's the same. Not every country in Africa is the same. Don't mistake Africa as one country. There's a lot of countries in Africa. Lots of them you shouldn't invest in. I would not invest in Somalia. Not a good investment. But there are great places to invest in Africa. Africa is also not Somalia. South Africa, Botswana, Ivory Coast, Mali. There's 57 countries in Africa. Trust me, the opportunities there by the math. Just from math. Math says it's a good place to invest. Now people are catching on and coming up with their own excuses to agree with me, like these people here. This is the New African channel, and this is about 20 minutes old, little 6-minute video.
The United States has struck hundreds of deals worth $14.2 billion of African nations in an effort to counter China's growing influence on the continent. British Robinson.
Okay, first off, that's kind of sort of true, kind of sort of not true. It's not that America's putting that into Africa. We have a trade agreement, and I did a video on this. And Biden said, hold off, we need to refine it a little bit because there's a free trade exemptions for taxes and tariffs for several African countries. And we've had this, and it's been extended. We've had this deal with them for about 10 years. It's up for renewal next year. And they're looking at it again, seeing if they can refine it and whatnot. And this is part of the refinement of that deal. These people here apparently are unaware of that or do not want to tell you that. That's why you got to watch out who you get information from. And that's why it pays to be knowledgeable before you learn new stuff. Learn other stuff. The fact that I did this report that America has had a 10-year agreement with several African countries that qualify to have no taxes or tariffs put on any of their products shipped to America. And that agreement is up for renewal again next year. And it looks like from this report that we have tweaked that agreement. So it's not a new thing. This channel is a new channel. The New Africa channel is a new channel, but they apparently don't know history because it has been going on for a long time. I've done a video on it, and you can go back, check my video, and get all the links there in that video to find out if I know what I'm talking about or not. But let's continue with this story. Just know that this guy's got some bias to him because of lack of knowledge. And I don't know how to use a computer because I'm an idiot.
The coordinator for the Prosper Africa Trade and Business Initiative, a program that connects U.S. and African businesses, revealed that America has introduced a staggering 547 new trade and investment agreements with African nations, representing a 67%.
Hold on. I've also gone on record. Wow, you guys need to, you really need to watch me. I've said this several times before. It's on record. It's on the videos. Trade agreements and treaties are the future. Throw charts out the window. Did you hear what they just said? A 67% increase in trade agreements with Africa. Chart that for the future. Tell me what that's going to be. I'm going to tell you, invest in Africa as a non-financial advisor who knows nothing about finances, but for over a year and a half has known that this is coming. Why? Because I know math. They're going to give you more reasons for why Africa is growing and why America is making so much investment. Because apparently somebody in the American government has a little common sense, or they watch my channel, one of the two, because we needed to do this. And everyone else who wants to prosper should follow suit.
An increase in the number and value of closed deals from 2022. Robinson stated that the Presidential and National Security Initiative aims to strengthen strategic and economic partnerships through two-way trade and investment flow, and that young people are critical to achieving that goal. The U.S. business and investment community is increasingly recognizing Africa's extraordinary market potential and dynamism. The continent is home to the world's youngest population, an asset that creates significant opportunities for viable business deals.
Read that. They have the youngest population. That means after India's population pops out, Africa will be taking India's spot.
That create jobs and foster shared prosperity, Robinson said during a December 12 virtual media briefing. Meanwhile, Judd Devermont, the U.S. National Security Council Senior Director for African Affairs, said that 2023 has been a record-breaking year for U.S.-Africa relations, with the U.S. following through on its commitment to invest $55 billion in Africa over 3 years. As we wind down 2023, we have already delivered on more than 40% of this commitment. In fact, by the end of year 2, we anticipate surpassing 70% of our goal, if not more, Devermont said. With these resources, we've expanded our trade and investment. We have advanced major food and health security partnerships, charted a course for digital transformation, forged new security and good governance cooperation, and catalyzed landmark diaspora-driven engagement. The virtual media briefing was organized to mark the first anniversary of the United States-Africa Leaders Summit in Washington, where Biden pledged to go all in on the continent. Washington is working actively to strengthen its ties with Africa, where China has expanded its influence through infrastructure, investment, and loans, among other initiatives. China's influence in Africa is a complex tapestry woven from trade, infrastructure development, and political engagement. Their economic footprint is undeniable. They're Africa's largest trading partner, with deals spanning commodities, manufacturing, and telecommunications. In 2023 alone, Chinese investment in Africa reached a staggering $80 billion, much of it directed towards crucial infrastructure projects like roads, railways, and ports. This infrastructure boom has unlocked economic potential.
Okay, first off, need to qualify that. China invested all that money in building deep water ports, building railroads from those deep water ports to their stations to be delivered, and roads from those stations that they'll be delivered to the places where they need to go. All China's worried about is the goods and services running through those countries, from those countries, and whatever. They're not investing in those countries because China wants to control all the roads, control all the railroads, and control all the ports, and take that away from those countries. We've seen that in the past. That's a given. So let's continue here. So let them throw more money. They're going. China's bankrupt anyhow now. They're a foolish country. People are great.
And improve connectivity within African nations, though concerns about debt sustainability and labor practices linger. Beyond economics, China actively engages with African governments, offering diplomatic support and technical assistance. They've established numerous Confucius Institutes across the continent, promoting cultural exchange and language.
Okay, Confucius Institutes. Is that the same institutes that we are now kicking out of our system because they are bad and they've destroyed the American family and intelligence in our children? Yeah. Okay, rewind this because it said that Chinese. Here, let him say it. You don't have to listen to me say it.
They've established numerous Confucius Institutes across the continent.
Confucius Institutes. Confucius Institutes across. That means they're spreading. They've got Confucian Institutes in China, and they are using that to re-educate about 500,000 Islamic Chinese people in the northwest of China. They put them in that encampment, and they are re-educating them at one of those institutes. Yeah. Watch out for China, baby.
Promoting cultural exchange and language learning. While some view this engagement as a soft power play, others appreciate China's alternative to the historical dominance of Western powers in Africa.
That's a bunch of bullshit.
Devermont, President Joe Biden's top Africa advisor, added that Africa is not only important economically but politically, highlighting that the U.S. has been pushing for more African voices on the world stage for some time. President Biden last year called for the African Union to become a permanent member of the G20, and in September, we proudly welcomed this development, Devermont said. We're now advocating for a third seat for the
I did a video on
Sub-Saharan
that.
Africa on the IMF board, and of course, we reiterate our call for permanent representation for Africa at the UN Security Council. It is clear that in the face of China's increasing influence in Africa, the United States has embarked on a more ambitious strategy, evident in the recent introduction of 547 new trade and investment agreements worth $14.2 billion with African nations. This substantial effort, representing a 67% increase from the previous year, underscores America's determination to counterbalance China's dominant position on the continent. China is undoubtedly the dominant global superpower in Africa, and for good reasons. China has gained more ground in Africa.
Okay. They're selling spin here. There's a lot of countries like Tanzania and a few others that have kicked all the Chinese out of their country because their mining practices, they use arsenic and mercury and all this other stuff to extract the gold from the ore or whatnot, and they just let it run down the rivers. And the Africans have already, I've done videos, they're over a year and a half old, on the tension between the Africans and the Chinese. This guy's selling you bull crap. Maybe 50% of them like them. The other 50% hate them. Countries in Africa, and there's like 57, 52 countries, several have kicked China out of their countries. And they don't tell you about that because they're not involved in the One Belt Road Initiative. All China cares about in Africa is the One Belt Road Initiative countries. The rest of them they could give a crap less about. And that has been proven. This is a new channel that I'm videoing, this New Africa channel. It even says this new channel. It's New Africa channel. They are very, very inexperienced and very prideful. Obviously, you know, they're promoting their country, and that's a good thing. But they're going to fall into that trap of not researching and knowing history and starting to tell things and put people into traps that's not true. The Chinese do not like the Africans one freaking bit. I did a video of the Chinese booting them out of China. Booting Africans out of China, not allowing them to go back to their homes and get their shit, just straight up evicting them out of the country. There is a lot, you know, China might like 13 of those African countries because they're Belt Road Initiative countries. The other 40, they don't care about. So that's not a majority of Africa. So this is a very bad representation from the channel this New African channel of China African relations, and they're trying to sell some spin. I just wanted to throw that in there because I've got factual evidence of that being a lie that he's just told you.
Africa than the U.S. because it offers a different model of engagement compared to Western powers, often with less emphasis on political conditionality and more focus on development projects. China also offers non-interference in internal affairs and often supports African positions on international issues, fostering a greater sense of respect and partnership than America.
And if you look at their building practices in China and see everything falling apart after it gets built, the new infrastructure they're building is going to be good for 2 years. Then it's going to start falling apart, and all of this narrative is going to change. I see into the future. I bring you things that are going to happen, that might actually be happening now too, but things that are going to happen in the future. I've also brought other videos where I have shown video of the brand new high rises collapsing, not totally collapsing, like pulling Leaning Tower of Pisa moves and their exoskeletons falling off of brand new construction. Their newest aircraft carrier can't even get out of the port because it already needs repairs and it just got launched. And none of their plane launching systems, their magnetic launch systems don't even function on their brand new super carrier that can't go any more than 600 miles without a refueling ship. People don't buy into the hype. Don't buy into the hype. China's going down. Don't buy into that hype. Research it at least. Research China. Their greatest war power. Oh, the Mongols, everything. Yeah, you know, Pakistan, their number one partner in the Belt Road Initiative, takes the weapons China makes for them and throws them in the trash and buys them from America. And their excuse for buying still, Pakistan buys weapons from America. China's number one partner in the Belt Road Initiative, who they give weapons to, still buys weapons from America because they want functioning weapons. They want functioning weapons that they have to buy from America because why are the free weapons from China? Oh, they must not be functioning. Oh, no, they're not. 30% defect rate. 30% defect rate in most every weapon system China puts out, including their brand new aircraft carrier. Their whole launching systems that they got are totally defective, and they've got to take and put it back in dry dock and rebuild the whole thing and hope like hell they get it right the second time, but they don't know for sure. But the news ain't going to tell you that. So don't put too much on China. China's being sold as a big, strong dragon, but just don't light any matches around it because paper burns, and China's a paper dragon. The government, the CCP government, is a paper dragon, and they're research the millionaires. I think no billionaires. China, I think, had like 327 billionaires or something like that. Most of them disappeared. Most of Xi's governments disappeared, never to be seen again. Yeah, they're all vacationing in Hawaii. Yeah. Yeah, don't trust China and anything sold to you on China. But anyhow, that's my rant on China. You guys have a good day. I'm gonna end this one a little early. Maybe not. Let me press that button.